Hey, everybody, and thank you for tuning into this episode of Mixed Martial Analysis. Today on the show, I was fortunate enough to be able to talk with Montel Jackson, who is a fighter in the UFC Bantamweight division. He's 7-1, I believe. 1-1 in the UFC, but looked brilliant in his last performance when he got a full camp to fight against Brian Kelleher, who's the guy who's beat Hannah Barao and Yuri Alcantara. I mean, a guy with some big names on the resume. And Montel, beat him in the first round pretty handily. It was an impressive performance, and he fights at 135 pounds in the UFC's bantamweight division, but but he's 5'10", so he's a long guy for the weight class. He's got good wrestling, really good striking. We got into a bunch of different stuff. Talked about his time in Thailand. Talked about his perspective on some things, cornering, training, whole bunch of stuff. So hope you guys enjoy, and please give a big round of applause for my guest, Montel Quik Jackson. All right, so I guess let's jump right into it, man. How you doing? Thanks for coming on, too. I really appreciate it.
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, you're the interesting one, right? I'm asking you all the questions. So, I guess, did you watch the fights this past weekend by chance?
No.
You didn't? Are you the kind of guy who doesn't really watch fighting?
It depends on All depends on what I got going on for the day.
Oh, really? So just kind of like, if you got the time, you'll squeeze it in. And if not, just kind of, yeah. So
that's pretty much how it goes.
Right, and I mean, you obviously had two guys in the bantamweight division, and I mean, the only reason I bring it up is because Marias and Sunsao fought, right? And you're in one of the most talent-stacked divisions, and in my opinion, the UFC. I mean, lightweight gets a lot of credit and stuff, but I mean, rounding out your top 10 are guys like, Cody Garbrandt and stuff. So I just didn't know if you had interest in watching those like high-level fights, but you also got your own shit going on, right? So.
Yeah, man, pretty much, like it'd be whatever, man. Like if I got time, I watch.
Right. Yeah, I got you. That makes sense. How's the weather right now? Warming up at all?
Yeah, man, it's pretty warm out here. It's like almost 40 degrees. It's like almost like damn near like a 30, 40 degree shift in weather. So it's no complaints here.
Yeah. I mean, after going through whatever you guys went through how low did the dip in where you're at in Milwaukee?
In Milwaukee, it got as bad as to being. It was like a negative like 18.
Oh my god.
Negative 19, negative 20, and then with the windshield, it was like a negative like 30 something. So like,
holy shit, man. I mean, I don't know. How does it? It didn't impact your training, or did it impact your ability to get to the gym or anything like that?
Our gym closed just because like the hazards of people coming outside.
Yeah.
And then the hazard of people if they have car trouble or their battery dies or anything, or like on the newer cars the circuits freeze. So
right.
We didn't want anyone to come to the gym and then get stranded here because the car wouldn't start because the car potentially just froze.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got all these complications and stuff, right, with getting in there. So and if you're at a gym, you've got to take people's safety into consideration and everything. So it makes sense to just close stuff down, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I want to establish a timeline and kind of walk through, because you're pretty fresh off of the regional circuit and everything, right? And I mean, coming up through the professional ranks. And so how'd you get started in MMA? Do you have like a wrestling background, a striking background, or how did the whole thing come about?
I was a high school wrestler.
Really?
2 years in high school. Probably like 2 years in high school, my junior, senior year, just about half a seasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Because when you watch your fights, I mean, obviously there are highlights on your striking, and you've got a string of knockouts. But I mean, when you decide to apply your wrestling, it's fairly high level. Like, guys have a hard time dealing with the pressure that you put on them and everything, which is bizarre too, because you're a pretty long, lengthy guy,
Yeah. I look at like all aspects of the game as just like another tool in the toolbox. So given given the task for the day, you got to take out, the tool that fits or that's suited for the job. So
Right. Yeah. It's not.
if it comes to wrestling, then it's time to wrestle. If it comes to time to strike, it's time to strike. If it's time to fight inside striking, then it's time for Muay Thai.
Right. And, it's like I said, with your length and stuff, do you feel like you have an advantage sometimes going? Because, I mean, like most of the time, right? I mean, at least if you follow general principles or whatever, if you've got a long guy and a short guy, they're obviously going to tell the shorter guy to get inside, right? So, I mean, are you aware of that going into your fights? I guess what I wanted to ask you, I'm sorry, but do you watch film on guys?
No, I don't watch film on anybody. That stuff is not. I don't worry about that stuff. That stuff is for the coaches. That's the coach's job. So that's their job to, if they come up with a game plan or whatever they do, whatever they're going to incorporate into the lesson plan, that's on them, man. I really don't worry about that stuff. I really don't care about that stuff. And I don't worry about other people. I worry about myself.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And so you've got like a team of guys who they like kind of do all that shit for you. And then you just kind of, whatever they tell you need to do, you just follow. And
they do it. Most of the time, man, I go out there and just make adjustments I make the proper adjustments of what's in front of me, what's being seen right in front of me. Because like guys get so wrapped up in watching tape and studying film, and it like I say, man, like I just can't just totally like despise it. But there is some value in watching tape. But what you see in the ring and what you see on film is two different things.
Right.
What you saw then and what you're gonna see that's in front of you, that's two different things. So you can't get so wrapped up in that stuff, man.
I mean, I think it's interesting that you bring up those two different perspectives, right? Because when you're in a fight and you've got your corner watching it, they're seeing things differently than how you're seeing it, obviously, right? I mean, you've got the guy right in front of your face and they've kind of got a different view on things. So how important do you think cornering is?
Cornering is very important. Sometimes if you're very in tune with your corner, sometimes the stuff that they could be a step ahead of you and calling out whatever they're seeing. So
right.
They can, if they're better at reading this guy already, then giving you that jump, like, okay, this is coming, all right, or they're tell you, okay, throw this combination. It's a thin line, man. It's a thin line, but most of the time, if you're a good person, if you're a good listener and you're coachable and you can listen to your corner and your corner is very in tune with you, meaning that they know your habits, they know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, and they're good at reading people and making adjustments, you guys can be somewhat on the same level, almost like some fucking telepathy, twin power shit.
Right, like you're syncing up or something, right?
Yeah, it's just like the one twin is saying what the other twin is thinking, So
yeah.
like it just all depends on who's faster at processing, what's in front of you. So like sometimes the corner be calling out and giving it time or the opportunity that's ahead of me with this guy, I would hold off on it, or I would throw it right away before they, like, as they're saying it, I'm throwing it. So like it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Because it's like a whole other element of the fight that, I mean, they do the corner cams and stuff, but there's not really a lot of emphasis on it. But I mean, they're giving you advice throughout the fight. And like you said, there's definitely a relationship and a chemistry that gets built up between you guys. So it's interesting to get your perspective on how you kind of sync up on things. You know what I mean?
And then it goes to, sometimes it's like, all right, the corner's calling for something, but it's not there yet. It's not there yet.
Right.
Like the guy might have flashed. He might have flashed a good read on the combo, but it's not. It's not there. I gotta let this marinate. I gotta let this guy settle in. I gotta let him get comfortable, and then
Right. Then you apply the whatever technique they've been giving you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like you'll hear people call it out a lot of the time, and I think you'll hear corners call out, especially like if you're watching a prelim fight and there's not a lot of noise in the building yet. You hear the corner calling, and the fighter doesn't always throw it right away. And I think a lot of fans are like, "Why isn't he throwing it?" I mean, they're telling him to throw it, he's not throwing it. But I mean, there's a lot of factors that are going into it, right? Like you said, like you're waiting on your reads, and like they might just be giving you that to store for a little bit later, and you might be waiting on them to get tired. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
But it like like people like you know how like you go to school and like people be like, all right, this guy's smart, but
Right.
not necessarily. This like most people that go to school and get good grades, they're not smart. They're
Yeah,
just good at directions. You
exactly.
know,
Right. Like there's different types of intelligence. Yeah.
that's not critical thinking. Like if you tell them to do something on their own to solve this problem on their own without the given steps or without the given instructions, they'd be fucking lost.
Yeah.
That's not
100%.
that's
Yeah.
not intelligent.
Because you're not, and all you're doing in fighting, I mean, essentially what it boils down to is you're solving a problem. You've got a guy in front of you and he's presenting you with challenges, and you're breaking down what he's doing and trying to come up with, a realistic game plan about how you want to implement what you want to do. And I mean, it's a complicated thing that, I think, like you said, there are a lot of, I wanted to get into cornering a little bit because you seem to have like a trustworthy relationship with yours. And I just think it's a piece of the game that gets overlooked a little bit. So I want to make sure we touched on that and really get your take on it. Because like I said, I think that, I think you follow advice well, and it's important.
Yeah, like you like all right. So like say like when you first start fighting, when you
Mhm.
first start, you don't listen to nothing the corner say.
Right. Yeah, because you're so caught up in the moment, probably. Right. I mean, I've never done it, but I'm just assuming.
You go out there guns blazing.
Right. Yeah.
No thought, no listening, no anything. You
Right.
just guns. You out there fighting by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean,
So, so like
part.
once you get over that aspect, like okay, your nerves are a little bit more calmer. You're not just out there just seeing red, like you don't got tunnel vision.
Right.
Just looking at this small speck in the frame instead of looking at the whole picture. Once you get over that, okay, first fight, second fight, by the third fight, you should be ready to go. You should be
Exactly.
able to be in there calm, like your nerves calm, clear head, listening to the corner. Listening to the corner, making adjustments, looking for reads, not just out there with tunnel vision seeing red,
Right. And you talk about being comfortable, and you obviously just picked up a big win over Brian Kelleher at UFC 232. And I mean, it felt to me, I mean, just as an observer, like I obviously I wasn't in your camp or going through anything with you, but it felt to me like it didn't necessarily look like you had octagon jitters in the first fight, but you looked more comfortable, and you established your range early with the jab, and you were able to kind of like, you just looked overall more comfortable in there. So do you think that like having that first UFC fight under your belt made a big difference on your performance against Brian Kelleher, or was it more like the camp and not having it on short notice?
Well, I'll say like just being overall prepared, Like
Right.
I think I'm conservative because you gotta try to get your bang for the buck when it comes to like your energy system. So like you can't put too much into something that's not gonna be
Not
overall
there.
beneficial in the fight. Yeah, so
Exactly.
you gotta like I think I just fought too conservative.
Right. I mean, yeah, you got to find a balance, I guess, right? And I think that was big too. Like, and when you hurt Kelleher, I think that you handled the situation well. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I think there were moments where you were tagging Simone, but like the Kelleher, it was just like everything came together, man, and it was brilliant. I thought the performance was great, and I mean, he's a guy who's beat some tough motherfuckers like Henan Barao. He tapped out Yuri Alcantara, and to catch a guy like that in a darch, man, I mean, extremely impressive. So congratulations on that win.
Oh man, thank you.
While we're on the topic, I guess, like, how does that feel, right? Like when you've put in all that work and you've gone through a full camp, and to finally get your hand raised on, I mean, what is the elite promoter of MMA in the world, right? I mean, the best, you're on a roster with the best fighters in the world. So what does it feel like to finally get your hand raised and, kind of be in that moment?
You just gotta go back to the drawing board. Gotta start all over. And you just gotta improve.
Right. I mean,
Like that moment. Like you can't sit there and dwell on that stuff. Like I'm fighting at 135, so like it's nothing but killer. I can't waste time on that stuff. I don't even think about it anymore. Just move on to the next best thing, not weighing on that stuff. You can't sit there and like dwell on it like it happened already. All right, so what? What you gonna do next?
Exactly. You just kind of, and I don't want to jump ahead on anything, but like that's how champions tend to think, right? Like they don't ever, you never hear champions talking about, like, most of them at least. They don't sit there and like dwell on their past accomplishments. It's constantly a look forward, right? Like, who's the next guy? How do I get better? And so I think when that question gets asked, the way you responded is, in my opinion, you got the correct mentality about it. Yes, it's a good win. You get to put it in your back pocket and move forward and learn from it, just like you would have lost, right? But obviously feels a little better. But I think that's the right mentality to have if you want to, compete at a championship level, which I think you have the potential to. So.
Yeah, and then like just thinking like, okay, you're the hunter, or you were the hunter. Now you are the hunted. Now,
Right.
everybody's coming for a piece. Everybody, so like you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be prepared.
Yeah, because once you make a splash like that, you've got a target on your back, right? Especially like a first round finish. Guys are gonna, it's gonna draw the attention of the division, right? So, and on a big card. So, do you have anything lined up? Do you have any fights coming up next, or are you just kind of in camp waiting to hear back, or?
Oh man, it really don't matter, man. I'm just back to training, man.
Yeah.
Whatever comes. Whatever they send. It don't make no difference, man. Like, I truly don't care, man. I don't focus on that stuff.
Right.
I focus on me getting better, man. Like, that's somebody else's job. Let them do their job. I don't worry about that stuff.
Yeah, and again, I keep saying this, but that seems like the right approach, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in everything and like all the matchmaking and what they're doing here and who's moving up and down in the rankings. It's like, at the end of the day, you almost just got to fucking fight, right? And just keep getting better and just worry, like you said, worry about yourself.
Like man, like all that drama of people like, oh, I want to call out this guy, I want to call out that guy, I want this fight, I want that fight. It's like, man, you gonna fight. It truly, like, you want to fight, you gonna fight. It don't matter who you fight.
Yeah, it's gonna happen regardless.
It don't happen regardless. So like, the UFC got a matchmaker for your weight class, and it's not you. So let that person do their job.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. Like, at the end of the day, they're going to be calling the shots. So, why not just let them handle it, take the stress off yourself, and just focus on, like we were saying, getting better, and all right. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's even like more simpler than that, man. Like, life is just as simple as this saying, man. Worry about the things that you can control. Leave that stuff to people that's handling it, man.
Yeah, because it's almost like you're setting yourself up for, disappointment in a way, right? Like, I think there's a difference between, visualization and stuff, and then straight up just asking or hoping for things, and just hoping they work out, or like, and then like you said, it's a whole, and you've got these people that are in place to do it, right? So and it's some people's game, I guess, to call it out, people out and shit talking stuff, and then it's some people's to not, I guess. Sometimes it works for guys, but you hear a lot of guys who get on the mic and they call for a fight and then they never get it. So I don't know. I guess like you'll see some guys and they'll go up there and they're all amped up after a win and they're like, oh, I want to fight this guy, and you're like, he's not gonna get that fucking fight because he asked for it now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Or it just be like the fight they're calling for. It don't make sense. It literally don't make sense.
Yeah, but I know, and they're coming from a place where a lot of the times they're riding that high and they're emotional, and like maybe they're thinking things like they're gonna call someone crazy out, and it's like, maybe you'll get lucky and it'll happen, but I know there are some call outs and you're like, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know if that's gonna materialize.
No, it's simple, man. Never let your emotions supersede your intellect, man. Never.
Yeah, and that's an important part in fighting, right? Because if you watch guys who historically have been great, think about when Anderson Silva went into the cage, it was almost like he didn't look like he was about to get in a fist fight. Like, there were no nerves behind it. Like, he didn't really emotionally involve himself in too many of the fights. And paid dividends, right? He's one of the greatest of all times, or greatest of all time. So, I mean, there's definitely something to that control of your emotions and the ability to keep yourself in check under, I mean, a stressful situation. I mean, you're in a fucking fist fight. Like, it's a stressful situation.
Not really, man.
Yeah, but you're also, I mean, a killer, like a trained fight. I mean, granted, I mean, you don't find it stressful then? I mean, for you personally?
No, you you
Yeah,
you are like you like everything that you do most days is like you damn near in a fight like mentally every day. So getting
yeah,
there, getting in there and actually physically fighting, that's easy. That's the easy part.
right. And I guess, I mean, like if you're going through a camp or something, or I mean, training all the time, most fighters say that that's the hard part. Like once you get to the fight, that's actually, I mean, it's a chance to kind of showcase your skills. And most people consider that easier than the actual process of getting to the fight, because that's where all the strides are made and all the progress is made and everything, you know?
Yeah, it's all made in practice, man. Like
Right.
if any workout's easy or any workout is like it's light or whatever, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
To me, it's bullshit. And it's a fucking insult. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, if if it's easy, why do it? If it's
Yeah.
light, why do it? Like,
Because you feel like you're not pushing yourself, right?
no, it's not like
You just think it's a waste of time to not to
it's a
like do
complete,
something half-ass.
yeah, it's a complete waste of my fucking time. Like,
Right, exactly.
I could have stayed in bed. Like, I could have been laying down asleep. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck, man?
yeah, like what you could go down and like, I mean, put half effort into a workout and then like, and those are the ones too that like after you do them, you never feel good about them. Like you know what I mean? You were like, oh, I left stuff out there, and then so I mean, those type of training sessions are like you said. I mean, how much benefit are you reaping from them really? You know, if your mind's not in it and you're not committed to it.
Nah, nothing.
Exactly. Um, I wanted to ask you about some time that you went to Thailand, correct? Spent
Yeah, I
some
went to
time there.
Thailand.
Uh,
Yes.
so when was that?
It was like the summer before I went pro.
Interesting. Okay. And do you think that like going through that process and kind of being immersed in that culture, do you think that it prepared you for turning professional?
Yeah, yeah, of course, man. And like I got a real profound understanding of what hard work and dedication is.
Right. And I mean, and probably a sense of, I mean, how how materialistic the world we live in is here, right? I mean, they're pretty minimalist there as far as
Yeah, yeah, man. Very, man. Very minimum spending, very minimum possessions of the world. Like that stuff is not needed.
yeah, and I'm sure that it changed your mind about certain things and the way you approach things and think about things and appreciate things in general. And I mean, to go through that right before you turn pro had to pay dividends.
Yeah, 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 man. Just look just looking at how those people lived and like the value they put in family, the value they put in hard work, the value they put in their craft, like the value they put in being happy, truly happy. It's fucking mind it's mind blowing and it's mind changing. I met these little kids, man. I would eat lunch with them, at the gym at the like the morning like practice sessions and like sometimes like in the evening if they were still around before they went home or went like back to wherever they lived at or whatever. And like, man, these kids had nothing, man. Like literally like nothing. Like here I am, I got 6 pair of shoes, like I'm
Right.
wearing like $200-300 like shoes and shit. And I'm standing next to this kid, man. He never damn near had a pair of shoes. Then he's wearing like sandals and shit that are like too small and like all busted up. And I'm fucking wearing $200 shoes, $300 shoes. I'm just thinking something's wrong with me, man. And I watch how the kids interacted. They fucking ragtag. They got nothing, man. They happy. They got confidence, man. I'm talking about supreme confidence. They can walk up and talk to anybody. They never felt like lesser than because they didn't have what other people had.
There's not as much emphasis on material things. Where like I think if you talked, I mean, how many kids do you think between like, I mean, fuck, even adults, man. I'm addicted to my phone. But if you took like a kid's phone away in America, I mean, they're gonna throw a fucking tantrum. So, I mean, you see something like that, and it has to change how you view the world.
You ever try to talk to? You ever notice how people like move in public, and as they walk in, they won't make eye contact. Their head is buried in the phone.
Yeah, everywhere.
And they look at their phone like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you, man? Or you try to talk like you like public speaking, like tell a kid to tell you his name or to stand up in front of everybody and say what your name is, say where you from, tell me what you're good at. People start fucking crying, like literally, like tears, looking like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? But like over there, everybody smiles. Everybody smiles. Everybody say, "Sadika." Everybody say, "What's up?" Like everyone smile. If you're not smiling, if you're not saying hello to everybody, something's wrong with you. Like it's frowned upon. Like, why you not happy, man? What's wrong with you, man? You tripping? Like they look at you like that. Like they see somebody very serious about some shit, they be like, "Relax, man. Calm. You know, calm yourself down. You know, just relax, man. Be happy. You know." But like I just looked at those kids and I looked at myself like, this kid got nothing. He don't got as much money as I got. He don't got as much like clothes. He's not wearing $200 shoes. Like he don't got like a fucking high-end phone. Like he don't drive a car. Like this kid got nothing. And he's happy. He's confident. He's sure of himself. And then you look at me, you know. Like I had to think in my head, like, man, I can't walk around without a decent pair of shoes on. Like I can't walk around with like dirty shoes on. Like I can't walk around looking like a fucking bum. Like, I can't walk with money in my pocket or something to make me feel like I'm somebody. Like
exactly. Like
stuff like man, like you just if you take away all the materialistic shit, you're just nothing but insecure, doubtful, materialistic, and you're not truly happy.
Right. And it is weird, like the emphasis that we decide to put on things that are inanimate, that don't feel any type of joy or any type of emotion. I mean, it does bring up an interesting point. Like, I mean, you go to a culture like that where everything is based around, you know, like you said, the relationship on their family and just, you know, being truly happy and connected. Like, I don't know if you want to call it a spiritual level or a personal level, but I mean, and I think if you look at cultures like that, look how invested they are in Muay Thai. You know what I mean? And the actual, like, they're in love with the sport. Like the whole ritual they have before. I mean, I'm not fluent in it or anything, but like they have that ritual that they do before they walk out. Like I think American fans are kind of like, we're invested in the sport of MMA because they're like, who's going to get knocked the fuck out? Or like, who's going to do this? And it's like, they're in it for the true love of the sport.
Yeah, true love of the sport, the religion, the religious side of it. And, you know, taking pride in themselves, taking pride in their coaches, like the gurus, taking pride in their gym. So, like, all that stuff is all invested, man. And, like, once those guys fight, man, or once they're Muay Thai fighters, man, those guys are, like, Muay Thai fighters forever.
Yeah, and they start pretty young, too, don't they? Most of them, if they get involved in it.
Like 6, 7 years old, they start training, man.
You'll hear about like these 14-year-old kids who have like 100 fights, and you're like, holy fuck! Like, I don't. But that's what they do. It's like, you know, it's like it's part of their culture. It's ingrained in who they are almost. It's like almost etched into their DNA.
Yeah, and it's like they like the way they train is like they don't take damage in practice. Like
really,
they don't get in slugfest. No power to the head, man. It's just about the same speed, and you get the same reaction, but it's no power to the head, man. You don't see guys getting in the gym getting in brawls. You don't see guys in the gym slugging it out, and they spar every day. Like I was over there, I spar every day, 2 times a day, man.
Right, and I mean, when you're sparring like that and you get in those wars, I mean, we're becoming more and more aware of the repercussions of it. So do you like? did you kind of take that and adapt it to your own training? Like, do you avoid those type of brawls whenever you're training and stuff?
Yeah, I literally always avoided those type of brawls because like I'm not fucking getting paid in here to fuck you up, man. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're you're probably paying them more than likely. Like,
yeah, and like I'm in here trying to like work on skills. Like I'm in here trying to work on like a combo and shit. I'm in here trying to work on mechanical motion and shit, you know. I'm in here like trying to like apply intelligence and technique, you know. And this guy's in here just trying to fight. And I always tell guys like, man, if you're trying to fight, go see the coach. He'll get you a fight.
yeah,
He'll get you a fight. He'll get you a fight this fucking week. Like,
like if you're that hell bent on it, yeah, don't do it here. Go apply it where you know what I mean, where you can. And like you said, there's no real benefit to doing it. It feels like the only thing it can do is shorten your career. Those types of wars, you know what I mean? So,
like if you look at guys take or have taken more damage in practice than in actual fucking fights.
oh yeah, I believe it.
If you talk about like the CT and all that shit and concussive injuries and shit, most of that shit happens in practice, man. And people they think like, oh, I'm so macho that I'm not gonna tell this guy I'm hurt, or I'm not gonna tell this guy that he's damn near ringing my bell every time he fucking punch me. Like they say, oh, man, I'm no bitch, or I'm not this, I'm not that. You're a fucking fool.
You're letting your ego get in the way of your common sense.
You're a fool. Like you're literally a fool.
100%. I agree.
If you in some trouble or a motherfucker is rocking you, you're not a fucking puncher bag. Tell this motherfucker, hey, can you turn it down?
Yeah, ease up. Like
you're moving too fast, man. Like
yeah, no.
Or I tell people like I can't handle myself. But like I like if I can like somewhat see like where like the sparring is going, then I literally tell them like, my man, slow down, man. This isn't a fight. Like I'm not trying to fight you, but I do let them know if you want to fight, just say you want to fight. I'll fight you.
Yeah.
I'll fucking fight you.
Right.
But don't be in here trying to fucking pretend like it's just light. You know, it start off as just being so light,
and then
but
he tries to tear your fucking head off, and
we're like you. It's like you get somebody with like a clean combo, pop, pop, pop. Don't gotta be hard.
Right.
You just touch him a good amount of times. You touch him a very good time. Just boom, like shit, like then the guy he realized in his head it turns on like, oh my fucking god, this guy almost took my head off.
Right.
Not with the power, but just accuracy and you know, and the precision. Like, oh shit, this guy just took my head off. So then they think in their head like, okay, I gotta take it up a notch.
Yeah, like they've got to counter and one up you somehow.
I gotta match his level, and it's really like, my man, like if that was really with like malicious intent, you'll be fucking knocked out. Like
yeah, like if you hit him with that clean, he'd at least be. I mean, he's gonna be wobbled at least, right? Like you would think at least.
You wouldn't be thinking about taking it to the next level. Like you'd be fucking balled up. Like
you'd be in survival mode.
Yeah, it's like.
That's a good fucking point.
I just let him know. I just shake my head. My man.
Yeah.
Slow down, man. You say this is light. You know what I'm saying? Keep it light, man. Like if you can't do it slow, you can't do it fucking fast. Like I'm not as moving as twice as fast. I'm not as hitting you as twice as hard as I could be. I'm just touching. Pop, 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 pop.
Exactly. And when you get those type of like, you know, you get those when people do start getting like they start headhunting and stuff, especially in the gym. I mean, that's when technique starts to suffer and accidents happen and injuries occur. So, I mean, it's probably best to just nip that shit in the bud if you got someone like training like that with you, like trying to impose or you know what I mean, letting them eat whatever it may be, whatever's forcing them to, you know, want to push the limit with you.
No, I literally would stop and let them know, my man, this is sparring. This isn't a fight. Like I let them know, if you want to fight, go talk to Jake.
Yeah, because they're not earning any medals or any cash on that day, like you said. I mean, it's not like they're getting any reward from what they're doing, other than I don't know. Well, fuck, man, we just did like 35 minutes. I don't think I got some shit wrote down in case I forgot, but I think I covered a lot of the stuff that I did want to ask you.
we can keep going, man, if you want to. It really don't make a difference.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just didn't want to impose on your time. I don't know what you got going on, so if you want to keep it rolling, we can. That's fine with me.
Man, you ever saw that video on Facebook and Instagram? I got time. Yesterday I ain't had time, but I got time.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I appreciate it. So I know you mentioned some like mechanical movement that you work on and stuff. Do you do any exercises to supplement your training, like not training obviously, but like kettlebells or I mean anything like that, plyometrics?
Yeah, of course, man. A lot of calisthenics, resistance bands, a lot of I do speed of sport, so a lot of our stuff do happen with like kettlebells and resistance and
Right.
calisthenics. So and then just like mechanical range of motion, flexibility, and also strengthening, and you doing it with the emphasis coordination. So you working your mental and your physical at the same time.
Right. Yeah, that seems to be kind of the move lately, right? Among fighters, especially, is like that move towards functional strength training and, you know, things that are gonna. Do you do like any Olympic lifts at all? Like anything
No,
like
man.
that? Yeah, I don't. A lot of people don't anymore.
I haven't lifted weights. Even in high school, like I never really like actually like lifted weights. It would just be like we would take 45s and work out with 45 plates. So it's not like you're actually lifting weights
Right.
per se, but we would just lift 45 plates. And plus, like you with being a fighter and stuff, you're not working like you're not working your muscles to fire fast.
Right.
Everything in fighting is fast. Everything's happening fast. So
Right.
if you're sitting there, you working like lifting weights, you working power, like slow power stuff.
Yeah, like it's probably not going to translate over to something as well as like, like kettlebells or like you said, like using the bands, things that are like that help you, they improve your like dexterity, your flexibility, your movement and everything. So, I mean, that seems to be the way to get, it seems to be the way a lot of guys are going. I think I think also, I mean, MMA is young, so the research behind the exercise is, I mean, relatively young as well. And I think we're starting to hit that point now where you're starting to see massive leaps in athleticism and performance with, more smarter training.
Yeah, hell yeah, of course, man. Um, like look at it from like what you did in your previous camp, the pros, the cons, how you performed. Those are all adjustments that relatively can be made, just by just seeing it. Like, okay, I had to do more of this, less of this, like stuff like that, man.
Right. Yeah. Just constant little adjustments and tweaks and tuning. Right. And
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you something else too. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on it. Oh, you said that you don't watch opponents, but do you watch film of yourself at all? Do you analyze anything there, or do you let your coaches handle that as well?
No, like I'm very like self-criticizing and self-critiquing.
Mm-hmm.
So um even if someone would tell me good job or Montel, you looked it good or you did this well, it's like not perfect. So like it really doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. Yeah. Like you're a perfectionist. You want everything to be like. There's probably not going to be a performance for you that's ever good enough. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's like I said, we go back to that mindset that a lot of guys like that have, and I mean it seems to carry them far throughout their MMA career. So
Yeah, like it just never like I don't think like I would ever do anything perfect. So like I'm always working at that.
right, and I mean if the goal is obviously perfection, but it's almost an inachievable goal, right? Because I mean, no matter how often you train, there's always going to be something to clean up, like something to tweak. I mean, jiu-jitsu is a good example of like you have steady progression throughout. Like you might have like leaps and bounds within the first 2 years, but then I mean, as you start getting to like a brown belt or a black belt level, I mean, and by the way, I want to clarify, I'm not speaking from experience. I'm a fucking white belt, but the difference in their game seems to be just like inches and small adjustments. So it's MMA is a game that you're never going to perfect. So it's a constant chase, right? And the guys at the top of that heap seem to constantly be pursuing it.
Yeah, man, it's like when you start to come out of that like the stages of like beginner, intermediate, advanced, like the devil's in the detail.
Exactly. It's
like all the learning, all the secrets are in the small, intricate or just simple details that people don't pay close enough attention to.
Exactly. And that's probably that's probably what separates the elite from the people who are, just what I don't even want to say they're going through the motions, but there are those types of guys that are in there and they're they're hell bent on like they getting in these wars and getting attached to their ego in the gym, and then they forget that like, man, if you just slowed down and clean things up, you would probably see faster progression than going in there and going balls to the walls and sacrificing who knows what on technique. So,
and then like people they just, once they get, oh, I have successful on this, like this is very good, like I'm very good at, they just stop and they tune out. And it's just like if you're driving a Ferrari and I pull up to you in a hoopty and that's trying to tell you something, you probably won't roll down the window. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You won't roll down the window because you would think that whatever I got to tell you is no benefit or no value to you.
Yeah.
You think like, what you gonna tell me? You in a fucking hoopty, like, yeah. What can you tell me? Value. But if I pull up and you in like a fucking McLaurin or a fucking another Ferrari, or I put up in a Lamborghini or some stupid shit, like you're running one like, oh, let me see what this guy got to say. Like, you would think I got something more of value to offer you, but it's just about that mindset, man.
Yeah, about that perspective of constantly wanting to like keep learning, right, and keep obtaining things and adding to the toolbox. It's you're playing in a high consequences game too. Like when you're fighting at a UFC level, especially, tiny details, and if you're not paying attention to them, they can be devastating. Possibly career altering. There are things that you have to constantly be on alert about when you're fighting, and if you're not cleaning those details up in the gym and smoothing things out, it can.
Man, any mistake, your ass will pay. Any mistake, your ass will pay. Like, this game is unforgiving. So like 100%. when I see people that are like a Joe's, like an average guy, or a guy that's like, oh, got a lower level, like, oh, I bet you I could do this, or I can beat that guy, and I can do this, or I just look at him like, bro, listen, man, know your limits, man.
Yeah.
You be honest with yourself. Know your limits, man. I'm like, this dude has been doing this for years, man. Like, this is what this man do professionally. This is what he spent most of his day doing. You literally gonna tell me that you gonna come off your couch, or you gonna clock out of your job, and you gonna come and you gonna do something better than this man?
Yeah, exactly.
That's hard to believe, man. That's hard for me to believe. Or people be like, oh man, like, oh, I'm a street fighter. I would fuck that guy up. That guy, I'm not fighting. Yeah, that sound nice, don't it? That sound very, very nice.
Yeah,
don't
nice.
that sound like a good dream? Like you could fuck up this guy here in the UFC. You just gonna fuck him up, right?
Yeah,
and I just like, don't undermine this man's talent, but don't undermine this man's work ethic. This is what this man do. This is how this man eat. This is how this man feed his family. And you gonna sit up here and tell me you gonna whoop this man's ass?
Yeah, get the crazy. People are. Well, especially like there are a lot of people who are delusional about it, like you said, and it's like, man, you don't like you said. This is how this motherfucker spends his time and his day. Like, the odds that you're gonna be able to overcome that are, And it's like, do you remember when you first got into it, like jujitsu or anything, how overwhelming it was feeling when you first started? And like, there's no way to explain that feeling to someone who's never done it. So I think they have like a skewed reality about what they think they can do. And then, I mean, if they were to cross that line, I think they'd be rudely introduced to, I mean, how high, and especially now, like how high level the fighters are now in today's day and age. I mean,
or it just even not even fighters, man. It's just like people got the perception like, oh, this skinny guy with glasses looks kind of timid, looks kind of shy. Oh, I bet I can kick his ass.
right.
This day and
No, you
age,
can't do that anymore.
you ain't doing nothing. Guy, this guy's not gonna tell you. This guy's not gonna get angry. This guy's not gonna get drawn into an argument. He's sure of himself. He knows his skills. He knows what he does. Like
Right. There's no
the
reason.
moment he take off them fucking glasses, shit gonna get real. He gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah, and you're gonna be
back on and go about his business. Like don't get that shit confused, man.
Yeah.
Don't get confused.
I think you'll find too that most of the time, like the people who are talking about, like I've never met anyone that I've trained with who was ever like at a, I mean, I don't even know, even a purple belt level or a blue belt level. I've never heard any of them go, I bet I could kick that guy's ass. And it's like that need to express that is kind of eliminated when you train all the time because you're likely getting your ass handed to you, especially when you first start. But I mean, and people who have never gone through it, I think that's a problem in like the general fan base a little bit is I think a lot of people watch fighting too and they aren't really aware of what they're seeing. Like that's why I'm personally, how do you feel about the move to ESPN? Do you feel like that's a good thing for the sport?
I think anything that's gonna put the sport on a bigger platform and normalize mixed martial arts, just like boxing or taekwondo or karate or any other sport,
Right.
Just so we change those negative perceptions about fighters, about mixed martial arts, about mixed martial arts being a combat sport. Period. That it's 2019. Like we've been like domesticated, we've been housebroken. Like you ain't gonna see too many like crazy motherfuckers or too many people that's like out of their fucking mind or just
like Chris Lieben type characters or some shit, right?
just looking like they're coming off the street or some shit. Like
Yeah. Which no disrespect to Chris Lieben, by the way. I mean, he's an animal. It's just it is a different time and a different mentality. And like one of the reasons I want to bring you on is not just because you're an up and comer, because like I've listened to your interviews and you do have an intelligent approach and you're an intellectual about your training, your approach to going through camp and a lot of things, man. I think you do a lot of things right. And like I said, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on. And I think, conversations like this are important because they do get to, fans and just people whoever watches it, they do get to see this side of you and realize like, it's not just two dudes fighting in a cage. Like there's a lot of work, there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of everything that goes into fighting.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Like again, like people got this notion of fighters being like brute, dull creatures, and it's like
yeah, and they're not.
Like some of these people gave up like a good white collar job. Like
some making like, safe livings.
Safe livings. Like some people like literally like gave up that American dream that go to work a 9 to 5 or a 3 to 10 or a 2 to 10 or 1 to 10. Like some people gave that up to chase their dreams and to achieve their goals and not to live their life like on a safety net or putting their future in the hands of another person, like
exactly.
And the biggest thing is true happiness. A lot of people work those jobs and they're not happy, man. They don't want to do that stuff. That's not their dream. They go to work because it's safe.
Right.
And because it's like securing them financially, but they don't really want to do that. Like a lot of people or majority of people are afraid to like jump off the ledge and spread their wings and fly or attempt to fly
Yeah,
Like a
right.
lot of people are even afraid to even gamble on themselves or take a risk or even just truly just believe in themselves. Like a lot of people are, I say, like mentally weak or mentally incompetent to the thought of believing in themselves more than more than something spiritual or divine.
Right. Right.
They will believe in God or they believe in like a religion more than they believe in their own self. You know?
I know exactly what you mean. Yes. Yes. Like almost kind of like a mentality like things are gonna be taken care of for me. And like you gotta like have like you said, some confidence. You gotta take some risk. You gotta be willing to bet on yourself. And a lot of people don't do it. I think you're right.
But like if like people would be like a little bit more happier. People would be. I think the world would be like a little bit more like better, and we'd be a little bit more ahead if people actually had the balls to say like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Like I don't want nobody to say like I'm going to do this or like oh that's good, but I'm gonna make it great. Like
Right. And
I'm
have
gonna be
the exactly. And then have the confidence to say it and then work towards it and apply yourself and like figure out what you did wrong when you do fuck up. And I think a lot of people too, if they do take the initial risk, they run into failure and then they're like, fuck it, I'm done. Like I'm going back to what's safe and what I know how to do. So, I mean, fuck, maybe we need to fucking fly them all to Thailand let them live down there for a little bit.
shit, man. It's I only got one plan only. Ain't no plan B, ain't no plan C, ain't no plan D, E, F, or any of that shit. There's only one plan. It's only one plan. It's only one goal.
Right. Championship gold, I'm guessing, right?
That's it, man. That's all it is. To be the best.
I got you, man. I mean, well, I'm not just saying this because I mean I do think you have the potential to do it. You have an advantageous reach over a lot of the guys in your division. What impressed me more than anything in your first two fights is just like your level of composure. So I'm glad we got to dig into that on this and kind of, see what goes into your mentality and how you prepare for things. Because I mean, you're cool as a fucking cucumber in there, man.
Practice. You gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable, man. A lot of people, when it comes to achieving their goals or their dreams coming true, they would get there. They would get to that point. They would literally get to that point where, okay, one step this way, all my dreams come true.
Right.
I can this goal off my list. But in front of that, them being uncomfortable, adversity, shit not going their way, setbacks, failures, everything to hold them or to stop them or to plateau them, everything right there that's stopping them from achieving their dream or their goal. Once they get to that point, if they don't got that mindset or they never saw it before, it's gonna be all in vain. All that hard work is gonna go to vain.
Yeah, because they'll never take that step and follow through.
They will never get there. And I hate when people say, oh, I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda, or if I woulda, or I tried and it didn't work. And you gotta be careful with them type of people too, because they cast their insecurities and their failures on you, and they have you think
and then it rubs off.
They didn't do so. Like you gotta be careful with that, and that shit is like very important. Like in the development of an adult, of a kid, of anybody, because like a lot of kids, like they were literally taught, subconscious and conscious, they were taught you can't do that.
Right, they put limits on themselves immediately, and kids are sponges, so they're taking all that fucking shit in.
Yeah, and like that's negativity. Like literally, like oh, Johnny, you can't do that. Like you see kids at that early age from like 1 to 4, kids are fearless.
Yeah, they don't know what the fuck's going on. They're willing to take risks because they don't fully. That's when you got to let them experiment. I feel like.
And it's not that they don't know what's going. They don't give a fuck. They're doing it. They're doing. They handling that shit like they
Right.
don't care. Like you see a little kid that's trying to climb on something, they
Right.
can fall down 2-3 times. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
They getting and they going. They getting on it. Like they climbing on it. You see a little
Right.
kid trying to get on the couch for the first time. They don't care. They getting on the couch.
Right.
They don't care if they fall. They don't care if they hit their head or whatever. They getting off the couch or they getting off the couch. It don't make a difference. It truly don't make no difference. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
that parent literally is like, oh, boo, 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 it's okay. You shouldn't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. It's gonna hurt if you do that, you know. And the kid, boom, it registers in their head. They program, okay, I'm not gonna do this because it might hurt me. It might hurt.
Right.
And then they head's like, okay, I'm not gonna do that no more. And it literally like stifles. It stifles them from getting through that adversity, to getting over that pain, to getting through stuff. You know, it literally just it kills them, man. And it kills the spirit, man. Like you see a little kid, you tell a little kid, oh, every little kid, I want to make it to the NBA. I want to make it here. I want to make it there. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you always get that. You always get that one adult or that one person that's like, you know, the odds of you making it to the NFL.
Yeah, and it fucking plants seeds of negativity in them.
Exactly. You know the odds of you if you go to the NBA or you being an elite level athlete. You know the odds of you. You know the odds of that happening. Well, I think you should work on doing this and you know. Not truly. It's like fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck them.
Yeah,
man.
Seriously. Well, and when you're so impressionable at that age.
Everything. Go all in. Don't live your life with fucking doubts and fucking regrets. Go all in. Forget it. Like literally like when people. When fucking people when like people see me or I see a little kid trying to do something, I don't give a fuck. They can burn the house down. Burn this motherfucker down. If that's what you want to do it.
Right.
But don't pass it and don't live with that regret like, oh, I should have cut it. Because I hate them type of people. Or I used to have. I hate them type of people, man.
Right. And and when you're that impressionable as a kid, I mean, that stuff does stick with you and it impacts, like you said, like it's going to impact the way you view the world and the way you make decisions in it. So are you sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Are you a father?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because your take on kids there is, I wondered if you were a father. I mean, fuck me.
I didn't then I volunteer coach City Kids Wrestling to inner city youth, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So like I try to tell all the kids, man,
awesome.
You can do whatever you want to do. You can do it. Like you can do it. You can do it. Go, literally go for it. Like I truly don't give a fuck. Go for it.
Right.
I mean, if that's what your heart desire and that's what your mind and your heart is, go for it, man. Don't let me stand in the way. If a kid tells me like, oh, I only want to do single legs, or I only want to do mat wrestling, I literally tell them, if that's your choice, all right, that's how you want to wrestle matches, or that's what you want to spend most of your time on, go right ahead. You know, like most people, they really don't learn by, you know, like the average person, I say, they really don't learn by like words. Like, okay, like I wouldn't advise, you know, you doing this or you doing that. You know, a lot of people, they don't learn that way. They learn by physical activity. They learn by hitting their head a couple times.
By doing it, yeah.
Man, go jump head first into the shit, man. Jump off of into it, man. Like you know, like when they drill timing on, you know, we drill doubles, we singles, we drill mat wrestling and all that shit. This is your time to shine. This is your time to shine. Literally.
Right. I mean, That's beautiful, man. I mean, it's a good message, and I think, and especially when those kids have a role model like you to look up to, who has been through adversity, and who has climbed the ranks on the professional scene, and now you're fighting in the UFC. I mean, it's good for them to look at, because you're someone who proves that if you apply the things that you believe in, you can get to where you want to be in life. And I think the fact that not only your kids, but these, I mean, wrestling programs that you're helping out with, I think it's a beautiful thing that they get to, not only hear it, but they get to see it through you. You get to like live that out in front of them, and I think that it resonates with them a little more.
It literally do, because like some kids were some kids were like, Montel, you're gonna quit your job and you're gonna train full time, and you stop going to school, and you're gonna you're gonna make it to UFC, you're gonna be a pro fighter, you're gonna do this. I just literally told them, yeah, I'm gonna.
That's what the fuck I'm gonna do.
There's nothing more I can tell you. I'm gonna do it, man. Like, and I tell them, like, whatever your goal is, whatever your goals are, or whatever your goal is, whatever your dreams are, do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way, right?
Like fucking apply pressure, man. Do it. Go for it, man.
Yeah, at some point it's gonna, like, if you keep applying the pressure, it's whatever the force is that's resisting is gonna break before you do, if you keep it up and keep, consistently applying yourself and learning from those mistakes and moving forward. I think a lot of people just have trouble pushing through it. And I think, like I said, I mean, I hate to keep pointing to you as an example, but it's great when people can see people like you, and you're pretty fresh on, like, you've got 2 UFC fights under your belt now, Contender Series fight. So, I mean, you're still pretty fresh off of the regional scene and everything. So, I mean, they're getting to see you go through this, like, while you're in the moment. Like, they're almost getting to see you talk about this and then live it out, like, right in front of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like even like when people it's still like shocking to me. Like, I'd be walking down the street, I'd be somewhere, and someone would call my name, and I'd be looking like, who the fuck is calling? Like, I don't. Now look, it's like, oh man, I saw your fight, I saw you on TV, and it's like, oh yeah, thank you, man.
Right? Is that kind of a weird feeling when you get that?
It is, man. It literally is, and I just be like, yeah,
like, that's what I'm doing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but
this cue ball just took my hat off. You know cue ball?
I do not.
It's my head coach, Jay Clip. I'll call him cue ball.
Shit, man. Well, we just did over an hour. I unfortunately have to run, so we got to wrap this thing up. But again, I thought it was interesting to get to talk to you and kind of get your perspective on things. And I really appreciate you coming on, man. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I mean, I'm asking you all the questions. People want to hear from you, not me. So I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Pretty much, man. Thank everybody that's played a part in my success. Thank my gym, thank my head coaches, thank my training partners, thank my management group, Iridium, thank the UFC, thank Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, thank Flow Life. I do sensory deprivation. Thank those guys.
How do you feel about that? Do you think, I don't mean to interrupt you. Sorry. How often do you do the sensory deprivation stuff?
Probably like 3 times a week.
Really? Do you think you get a lot of benefit out of it?
Yeah, man. You get a chance to like shut off from the world, literally.
Right. Yeah. That's important for people, especially like in an extreme sport like yours. But sorry, I just wanted to like kind of dig into that a little bit, but you can continue on.
Then you get a chance to face yourself. You get a chance to face the voices in your head, the noises in your mind. Like you literally got to face that. Like whatever's in your mind and whatever's bothering you. Once you go in that tank, and like I'm like a purist, so like I turn the light off, I turn the music off.
Right.
Like, and there's silence, and you can only hear your thoughts of your mom. Like, you gotta face that.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't spend any time alone with themselves. You know what I mean? They've always got like, even if it's just something as simple as like we were talking earlier, but like you get on your phone and you're on social media, like that constant feeling of interconnectedness. There's got to be benefits from getting away from that, right? Like getting into a situation where you are reflecting. It's all self-reflection. Like it's just you and your thoughts.
It makes you a stronger person.
Yeah.
It relieves stress if you have it, like stress and anxiety.
Right.
Like you know, they go out they go throughout the day, or they go throughout the week with like this like that constant stress and anxiety, literally from like work or life in general, and it allows you to somewhat like decompress and
Yeah.
release it all go.
Yeah, because a lot of people never get rid of it, right? Like they're just walking around all in this like wound up ball of energy almost, and it's like I don't know. They could probably benefit from using something like that. And I hear great things about it, so I wanted to kind of get your perspective on it and how you think it helps you.
All right, it does just that, man. It helps me face myself.
Let's see. You got anything else? Anyone else you want to thank or anything before we officially wrap this up? Or
Um, Pro Star Sports. I think that might be it, man. Like, not too many people to thank.
right? Yeah, you got your circle kinda.
Nice and small. If they wouldn't like, they say if they wouldn't with me shoot in the gym,
Yeah,
they with me now.
exactly. But all right, man. I think like I got to wrap this thing up, but I appreciate it and have a good day, man. Good luck going forward.
Yes, sir. Peace, love, and plenty of hair grease, my brother.
Thank you. Take it easy. Hey, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. It was an interesting show, right? I mean, he's a guy who, like I said, he's 5'10", and he's fighting in the 135-pound division of the UFC. He's got hands they measure bigger than Francis Ngannou's, right? If you don't know who Francis Ngannou is, look him the fuck up. He's an animal. But anyway, extremely talented. I think he's got a lot of promise, and it was interesting getting his perspective on things. I think he's very mature. He's very humble. I think you got to dig into a bit of what his philosophy is on training and how he approaches things, which is, what I feel like an important piece of the puzzle, right? And I mean, because a lot of the times when you're watching fights on TV, there's a string of fights. Like there might be 15 fights in a night, 16, 17. I don't know how fucking many, right? But there's 15 fights in a night. You're only getting to see these small glimpses and these small windows where they get to express themselves and show you what they've been doing in the gym. So I like talking to, people about what it's like preparing and what it's like mentally and physically and what it takes to get to that level and what the mindset of someone who's working at this level right now looks like. He's, like I said, a great kid. I think he's 26 right now, so he hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he's very composed when he fights, and I think he's got a lot of big things coming his way. I'll probably roll out one of these podcasts for the fights coming up this weekend, headlined by Robert Whitaker and Kelvin Gastelum, and I'm supposed to have Jay Cutrianello on and Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman, but Scott's in camp right now. I've been talking to him back and forth. I'm sure we'll get something set up, but he's a busy motherfucker, right? And I don't want to intrude and like push the envelope too much on, like getting this done because he's worried about a fight against a tough fucking guy, Nick Lentz. But I'll have him on at some point. I'm looking forward to talking to both of them. I'll try to get some more people on here too. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, like, dislike, whatever the fuck you guys want to do. Have a good one. Thank you.